All right, guys. Episode 6 is going to be all about Jax, and honestly, I'm here for it. Today, we're breaking down absolutely everything about this character before the next episode drops. We're talking about his whole transformation, whether his change is actually real, and what we think might go down in Episode 6. So stick around till the end because we're about to dive deep into understanding Jax. Episode 5 dropped the biggest bombshell about Jax, and now we can finally say we know his main secret, the one that explains literally everything he's done throughout the entire series. Remember that emotional stargazing scene where Jax actually opened up to Pomni?
I didn't think you cared about what other people like.
No, yeah, you're right, I don't.
Do you have any actual friends? Not anymore.
That's where we found out he used to have a best friend. And yeah, based on where they placed that friend next to Kaufmo in the lineup, it's pretty obvious they got turned into an abstracted monster a long time ago. Think about it. We've seen Jax being his usual sarcastic self since the pilot, which means his friend disappeared from the digital circus way before we ever met him. Here's the thing. I don't think Jax was always this much of a jerk. The whole topic of his friend is completely off limits. Like it's the one thing you absolutely don't bring up around him. When Ragatha crossed that line, you could literally see his face change.
Wait, no, I'm sorry.
She immediately started apologizing like crazy because she knew she messed up. After that, Pomni tried to get some details, but Jax smoothly dodged every single question. This dude has been hiding his real feelings for so long that being mean to everyone has become his default setting. Remember those evil clones from the adventure? There's this theory that they're reflections of the characters' true selves, like their real emotions they've been hiding. If we go with that theory, then Jax's clone being more quiet suggests he's been putting on this tough guy act to hide how he really feels inside. I'm definitely leaning toward the idea that he's been hiding his true self this whole time, and losing his friend is what pushed him over the edge. Let's rewind to that scene where Jax walks away from Kaufmo's funeral.
We like to have a little funeral service to remember the people who abstract. This one just got pushed around a bit with your arrival and everything.
At first, people thought he was being disrespectful, but now it makes total sense. If you look closely, he actually looks genuinely sad at first. But then there's this flash of bitterness before he storms off. It wasn't disrespect. It was fear. Fear of feeling those emotions again. He probably ran off because that moment brought back memories of his own friend, and he couldn't handle it. Here's where it gets interesting. Jax treats everyone badly, but Gangle became his #1 target.
They broke my comedy mask.
So, Kane, we having a new adventure today for the newbie or what?
I've got a couple theories about why. Maybe Jax sees a reflection of his lost friend in Gangle. We don't know what kind of relationship he had with his friend, but maybe they used to mess around with each other. After the loss, Jax's sense of humor got twisted into something meaner. Or maybe Gangle did something in the past that led to his friend getting abstracted, and now Jax is getting revenge in his own messed up way. Either way, I'm pretty sure Gangle is somehow connected to that whole situation. Everything shifted in episode 4. After Gangle put Jax through hell as the manager, something clicked inside him. For the first time, he approached Pomni calmly and rationally. Pomni's reaction said it all. She was genuinely surprised because she'd always seen him as just a troublemaker. But here he was, being a level-headed guy she could actually talk to. It's like Jax realized he couldn't keep going like this and felt that Pomni might be the one to pull him out of the mess he'd created. These two characters actually have a lot in common, and their stargazing conversation went really well. That's when Pomni realized Jax was actually a sane person you could talk to about anything. So here's something I keep thinking about. What if it's not Gangle who reminds Jax of his old friend? What if it's actually Pomni? Maybe all those insults and teasing were his way of testing her, trying to see how much she resembled that person.
Pomni, I'm sure there's some way you could help out here. Maybe when we catch up to them, we could—
Gotta be assertive, like this!
Jax!
That would explain why out of everyone in the digital circus, Pomni is the only one Jax genuinely wants to talk to now. Maybe he's finally trying to break free from all the fear that's been holding him back. I think episode 6 is gonna open with Jax finally telling Pomni the full truth about his best friend. We're probably gonna see him becoming more normal, like a totally sane version of himself without all the rage and bullying. But remember, the creators confirmed that episode 5 was basically the end of peaceful times. Starting from episode 6, we're gonna see full-blown chaos, and I think Jax is gonna be the one to kick it all off. Putting this together with what we know from leaks, the new adventure will probably be chosen by Jax, and it's gonna be the craziest one yet. Maybe Jax designed this adventure to test whether Pomni really is like his old friend. But as usual in the digital circus, something's gonna go wrong, and Pomni will act totally different from what Jax planned. This might convince him once again that no one can replace his true friend, and he'll lose his best friend all over again. That mannequin that's been lurking around finally got some focus in episode 5, and I got this feeling it's connected to Jax. A lot of fans think this mannequin might actually be Jax's lost friend. What if it suddenly shows up, claims to be his friend, and reveals some wild truth about the digital circus? That could set off a full-blown revolution and throw everything into chaos. So we've got two ways this could go. Path 1. Jax loses it completely when he realizes Pomni can't replace his friend, and that kicks off the madness we've been promised. Path 2. Jax becomes more grounded through his friendship with Pomni, accepting that while she can't replace his friend, she can help him find peace. Honestly, the second path seems more logical. Both we and Jax understand that Pomni isn't his old friend and never will be. But finding some kind of peace through her seems totally possible because Pomni actually gets Jax and she's interested in talking to him. Right now, Jax is just an insecure character doing everything he can to hide his true self behind this tough guy act. But does he really need to keep doing that? That's the heart of his biggest secret. It's all tangled up in misunderstandings and hidden emotions. By opening up to Pomni, Jax finally took a step in the right direction. I truly believe he can put that secret to rest, along with all the fear and pain that's been haunting him. Throughout episode 5, we saw how the bond between Pomni and Jax kept getting stronger. While Pomni was suspicious at first, she started to really understand him, and by the end, it's obvious she fully trusts him now. The way their relationship evolved from mutual wariness to genuine friendship shows us just how much potential Jax has for real connections when he's not putting up his usual walls. What's really interesting is how Pomni became the first person to see through Jax's act and actually stick around to understand what's underneath. That takes guts, especially when everyone else just accepts his behavior as, that's just how Jax is. But Pomni didn't settle for that surface-level understanding, and that's exactly what Jax needed, someone who wouldn't give up on him. Episode 6 is going to be huge for Jax's character development, and honestly, I think it might be the most important episode for him in the entire series so far. Whether he becomes the chaos starter or finds his peace, one thing's for sure. We're finally going to see the real Jax without all the masks and defenses. And after everything we've analyzed today, I genuinely think he deserves that chance to show who he really is. The beautiful thing about his arc is that it's not just about him getting better, it's about breaking cycles. Jax has been stuck in this pattern of pushing people away because he's terrified of losing someone again. But if he can learn to trust Pomni and let her help him heal, that's going to change everything about how he interacts with the rest of the digital circus crew. I'm really hoping we get to see him make peace with his past and maybe even open up to the other characters. Imagine Jax actually being supportive instead of sarcastic, or helping someone instead of making their day worse. That would be character growth on a whole different level. What do you guys think? Which theory makes more sense to you? Are you rooting for Jax to find his peace, or do you think the chaos route would make for better storytelling? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I'm curious to see what direction you think this is all heading, and whether you believe Jax can actually change or if he's too far gone. Piece by piece.